Welcome. Welcome, Maria. Welcome, family. Bettermindz coming back at you. And we're here with Maria.
Brown Girl Interrupted.
And Lovely T, the spiritual trainer. So, our topic today is self-awareness. It's deep. It's real deep. We gotta dig through the trenches to understand and figure out this one.
But, I think that we've been building up to this self-awareness.
We have. A few episodes we have. We did it with the 7 levels of consciousness and self-awareness. All of this tie into. And we also touched based on the 5 human experiences. And all of this just came about to building self-awareness. Now you're wondering where I'm going with this, why we're talking about these things. Well, COVID made a lot of people mentally ill. And not to be funny, but on a serious tip, I'm trying to bring people back down to life. Because I know it took us to certain places. We have experience that we can share, that we can help you grow. And with the tools that we have, we would like to share them with you and, build some self-awareness.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is that we are all in a place right now where we need to understand ourselves better in order to be better for the people around us. Because COVID certainly took a toll on a lot of emotional mental states for many people.
Yes, it did. It totally did. So, self-awareness starts with you. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think you're gonna have the you itself seems like it's gonna work. It's important, right?
Okay. So,
What does that mean exactly, self-awareness?
well, I gave my acronym the last time. I'm gonna re-give it. Self-awareness stands for self-elevation is first, and with all readiness, each need excels in seeing the soul. Now, what it means is it's something that we manage in ourselves, in our conscious knowledge of one's own character and feelings. It's the definition of it. So, we can say that in terms of confidence, right, people are influenced in 3 different ways. They're influenced through self-concept, self-worth, and self-esteem.
So tell me more about how my confidence is influenced by those 3 things.
Okay, well, your self-concept is who you want to be, right? It's an idea, a picture of who you want to be. Characteristics, not on the physical, not I want to be a lawyer, not I want to be a police officer.
So the type of person.
Yes.
I want to be giving.
Yes.
I want to be compassionate.
Right.
These things. Okay.
Those things.
Okay. So I have to have a self-concept because I have to know what kind of person I want to be.
Right. You
What
want
are
to
my
be
values?
right. Your intrinsic values. And with you saying that goes into your self-worth. So, and that's the second aspect of your confidence, your self-worth. Your intrinsic value is based upon how you value yourself. That's your intrinsic value. How you value yourself.
Okay.
Right?
So I know my values, what's important to me. And then I'm also getting my self-worth and understanding how I value myself. So it's not just knowing what's important to me, but the value of those characteristics, the value of being that person, and recognizing that it's a valuable thing, that I'm worthy, and that I'm worth it.
Exactly.
So then does that lead us to self-esteem?
It does. And your self-esteem comes from your self-concept.
Tell me more.
Okay, I'll tell you more. I'll share, since I'm in a sharing mood.
Because she's lovely tea. You know, all the wisdom.
So,
Yeah, lovely tea.
okay, so, you know, I gotta go on my notes because my husband will tell you I'm too detailed. One sentence is 2 paragraphs for me. Look at him. Okay, so there's a guy called Carl Rogers. He was a philosopher, and he had a concept of incongruence. And it is a concept that suggests that unpleasant feelings can result from a discrepancy between our perceived and ideal self. Okay? So keep that in mind.
I think we gotta sit in that one for a second. Can we sit in that one? Because that's sweet.
We can sit there.
That's heavy. There's incongruence when my perceived self has a conflict with my ideal self. So we're going back to perception versus reality here, right?
We are.
Because my perceived self is the perception I have of myself, which could come from negative beliefs of myself, or it could come from positive beliefs of myself.
That's right.
My ideal self is always going to be, hopefully, I think ideally, right? We all want to be better. We all want to be more.
Right.
We all want to be whole, at peace, right?
Right.
So what's the way to overcome this conflict between that perceived, say if it's negative, self and ideal self of what I want to be?
Okay, well, let's break down perceive and ideal. The perceived self is how you view yourself. Okay? Your ideal self is how you wish you were. So if you're not at the point where you're satisfied with who you are, and you still have an idea of what you want to be, and you still chasing that idea, you're not living in reality.
So it's kind of like the idea that if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm still seeing all my flaws, teeth aren't what they want, I don't have the body I want, I'm not as tall as I want, I'm not as strong as I want, right? Like that's my perceived self. So I'm not able to get to my ideal because I'm stuck in this place of not loving myself.
Right.
So I have to almost like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
So if I look in the mirror and I shift it, I look in the mirror and say, I love Martha.
That's right.
I do sometimes. I look in the mirror. Yeah, she's great. Look at her. She's smart. got her shit together. She's got, she's a good mom, and she's funny. So I'm saying all these good things to myself. I create the ideal of what I want. All those things now become part of who I am.
You're facing your truth.
So that's
now,
the in-between with the same.
That's part of your truth. Because you only said the good things about yourself.
So
you become truthful when you can recognize the bad things about yourself.
So that's important, because I think sometimes we think all we need to do is say all the good things about ourselves, but we gotta own. There's some ownership in here too.
Yes, it is.
So where does the ownership come from?
It comes from a combination of things. Because your ownership is also your perception. Because you're gonna own things and how you perceive what's going on. Okay? So, for example, if you came from a past where your parents groomed you to walk out the door every day and scream, "Good morning!" Right? You're just trained to do that. And then one day, you in your adult life now, you still doing that. People looking at you like you're crazy and everything. But this is who you are. So one day somebody come up to you and say, "Can you stop doing that? Because you looking crazy." That took your sunshine away. Because this is something that your parents told you that should be done, and it's a good thing, and people will be happy, right? But then somebody comes up to you and say, "You looking crazy," right? They just took that from you. So you look at him like he's crazy. Now let's think about the reality. If you've seen a person 30 years old run out the door every morning and say, "Good morning," what would you think?
So that depends, right? If that's how they do it every morning, then
But what
probably
would your
most
thought
of
be?
the day-
On even
they
if
do.
that's
Although,
what they do.
it surprises you, right? Like
It's
you're not
not-
expecting it. So this goes back to perception and what we think is norm, right?
There you go.
So we categorize it as not being normal, but maybe it's normal for you.
For them, but we would categorize it as it not being normal. That would be the reality of
It
it,
surprises
right?
us
Because it's
outside our norm.
right. So, because you perceive that it's not normal to you, when he's perceiving that what you're saying is not normal because he grew up with that and the other person did not. That is where your past experience come into the play of how you think, who you are, how you're going to react, and how can you be truthful with your thoughts. If you grew up in that, not to lose you, but we still on the example. If you grew up with a thought like that it's okay and people was happy, this is your truth. This is an experience from the past that you got from your parents.
So we're going back to that idea of things are ingrained in us, right? Our values are ingrained in us, but also then our characteristics and our idiosyncrasies or our behaviors or just all of that, right? Like
Yeah.
they're just part of accept them, whether or not they fit everybody's mold or everybody's expectation. We get to that place of self-concept and self-worth. Because that's my concept of who I am.
Right.
Just who I am. And I value it because it's worthy of being present, and it's worthy of being acknowledged, and it's worthy of just accepting as a good thing. It's different from what you're used to, but it's a good thing.
Right.
And through that, I now have self-esteem. And no one else's comments on it are going to make me feel like I'm gonna stop doing this.
Exactly. Because he's still running out there every morning yelling good morning. Because he got self-esteem. Just because you think it's crazy, it didn't break him down. But he's aware of that. It might not be normal to you, but this is normal to me. So I'm going to keep doing it.
So it's really like showing up as your authentic self with no regrets.
Yes. Yes. If he wasn't aware of his true self, and he believed what the guy told him that he was crazy, he would stop. He wouldn't have run out yelling good morning every day. But he knows the true value of that, which is what his parents gave him, and he valued that.
And he values as part of who he is.
That's right.
So there's no question.
No question.
And that's what we really want to get to, right? Like we want to be able to just show up as who we are in whatever way that is, whether or not that's the same as everybody else. And usually it's not going to be because it doesn't work. Everybody wants to be the same as everybody else.
Exactly.
And be okay with it, even if someone questions it. And I have to say, I know this well because I've been on the other side of that coin, right? Like I was in an experience in my marriage that I left where that was it. Like it was little things like I walk funny. I don't think it's that funny, but I walk differently. I got a stride, I got a little bounce, I got a little swagger. That's how I walk. Naturally, right? It's just, it's what I do, right? I didn't know any different from it. But my ex started to say that I was bouncing when I walked, right? So now something that I was so casually, comfortably doing and just walking, now I'm like real aware of how I walk. And when we start to be so overly critical and aware of ourselves, that's when we start to shrink a little bit.
Yeah.
And all those pieces of self-concept, self-worth, and self-esteem are no longer present.
Right.
So part of it is we gotta have boundaries up.
But you have to be aware. But you see, you are aware of that.
I wasn't though, for a long time.
And you see where it took you. Down the rabbit hole.
Right.
But now that you are aware of, so
I
if
swagger everywhere.
if someone comes to her and be like, yo boo, you bouncing. She not gonna have no thing about it because she identified that as her swag. She was like, alright boo, I said thank you. You know? Because she's aware of that instead of.
And I value it.
Right.
It's just because it's who I am, it's what I do.
Now if she wasn't aware of that, you were like, hey boo, I see you bouncing. You would have called that attitude. What do you mean I'm bouncing? Because you've been thinking about what you're asking. What you mean I'm bouncing? Like she wasn't even aware that it took her there. You know what I'm saying? And that's when she got to go and check herself and become aware of what makes her shout out at people when they say these things.
Or on the flip side, which is what my personality tended to do, was I internalized it. I just thought there was something wrong with me. Like I don't do things the way everybody else does it, and I gotta change to conform. And it takes a self-esteem in that you now start to question who you are, how you show up.
So I'm gonna give you a piece of jewel on that. If someone gives you a critical comment, and it could be a bad critique. If it's a bad critique, say thank you, and then you check it. If they be like, Maria, you thought so negative today. Thank you, and move along, and then check it. Because you don't want to engage into the negativity. You need to become aware of why that was said. So instead of an impulsive reaction, we're going to take it. We're going to take the criticism, move along, think on it, then act.
So responsive, not reactive.
Which also brings self-awareness. So, we're going to take a break and come back, and we're going to do a nice little segment called Fact Finding Mission. Okay, and we're back. So, we're about to go on a fact finding mission with Maria.
I'm ready for this.
We are about to find.
There are a lot of facts in Mario.
We're about to find the enemy within Maria with this particular situation that she wants to solve. So, give me something that you are confused about.
So right now, I am in this place of trying to figure out how to just be still and content by myself. I'm not great at it. I definitely have people around me all the time. I've always had people around me all the time. I've always had kids all the time. So it's been an adjustment, and there's something about it that it's hard. Hard to be by myself.
Okay. What in it makes it hard?
I think it's difficult to quiet my mind sometimes, and sometimes it's tough to know what to do. What do I do by myself without someone else to talk to or someone else to interact with? That's what's hard.
And as you mentioned earlier, it's hard because you always have someone around you through all your life.
I always have, and I think my attention has always been on those other people. I was married for 17 years. I had 4 kids, my job is taking care of people, either in the classroom when I was a classroom teacher or taking care of others that I'm training and coaching and having conversations with. So I'm always doing something for others that I don't know just how to do things for me. And it's been a learning curve.
So what will it take for Maria to do something for her by herself?
What will it take? So what would it feel like? Maybe I can say. I don't know what it would take.
What actions would you take?
Like
What
what
do you
actions?
need to do to get Maria to have some alone time?
Well, one, I gotta figure out what Maria likes to do by herself. I have some things, but nothing sustains. I think that's the problem, is that it doesn't last. So my challenge, I can spend maybe a day by myself. My challenge is of why it's hard is it's hard to find purpose in doing things for yourself, but it's easy to find purpose in doing things for others.
Okay. So you are aware that you don't like doing stuff for yourself. As you just said, it's not easy doing stuff for yourself. What makes it not easy?
Probably, I think that I associate it with being selfish.
So taking care of yourself is selfish?
I don't think it is, but I think I've associated with that, right? So like, I could take care of myself and take a nice bubble bath, right? Or I could clean my house, right? Like, so which one is going to be, which one am I to spend my time with? And I oftentimes will move to something that's not about just me being pampered and taken care of, but rather doing for others.
So, but if you're by yourself, who is there else to do for?
There is no one else to do for, so that's the thing I gotta get comfortable with is like, because yeah, I should be just taking care of myself. And some days, I'm not saying I don't ever do it. I will say this has been my learning curve. When I first separated, it was really, really hard. To the point where I think that's why I probably started dating, because I was like, I don't know what to do with myself on the weekends, so I just need some company. But I've pulled back a little bit from that and tried to figure out how do I start dating myself, right? Like, how do I just enjoy my own company? And some days I can do it better in the evenings, daytime's a little bit harder. So I don't know, it's finding like that balance. If that answers what you're asking.
So, you kind of answered the question I was about to answer, and I'm still going to answer. Because you mentioned that it's hard to be by yourself. Do you know yourself well enough? Can you get along with yourself? Like, can you crack a joke and you be the only one that laugh at it? Like, are you funny to yourself? How is Maria with herself?
I think now I see those things, right?
Okay.
But it doesn't sustain.
Okay.
So I can crack a joke with myself. I can look in the mirror and be like, I'm a funny person. I can entertain myself because I find interesting things all around me, or I look at things differently, or like my brain is just going 100 miles per hour and I can engage in some thinking for a long time. But I haven't been able to sustain it, right? So I can do that on Friday night, but by Saturday night, I'm feeling a little anxious. I'm feeling a little antsy, right?
So, feeling that way, you just need to get out the house, maybe get some fresh air, but that is still by yourself,
Change pace with by myself.
right? So, back to alone. Has there been any incident where you were alone and something bad happened?
I think there have been times where I've been alone and I've gone so far into my thoughts that it's taken me to a really emotionally raw place, and that feels bad. So it's not necessarily that something bad has happened, but I can go into a spiral of something that feels bad.
Okay, you can take yourself down a rabbit hole. So, have you found yourself connecting that with being alone?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself going down that rabbit hole? gives you these questions, you're thinking about it. And it's connected. And you're becoming aware of it. So the purpose of this situation in this segment is to bring you aware of why you don't like to be alone. Because it's more than I don't have nothing to do, I'm bored. It's more than that. There's a reason why you don't like to be alone. You just haven't connected. So as you start to dig and you start to ask questions, and the thoughts that come into your mind, you shouldn't be like throwing them away. Oh, I can't get it out of my mind. No. You have to address it. Why am I thinking this? And then take your steps backwards. That's you becoming aware of your situation. And now that things connect with you not wanting to be alone or you can't be by yourself, now that you know that this could be a part of that reason, you can begin to add some steps. You can create a routine that will take your mind away from being alone. Where now you're like, oh yeah, I gotta do this. But you're not purposely forgetting or trying to erase a feeling.
Avoidance.
Right.
But it's with purpose, finding other things.
Right. And you said it has to be a purpose.
There
So
doesn't.
now we have a purpose. Becoming self-aware. Becoming self-aware. It's a beautiful thing. Once you can be honest with yourself and just give yourself some thoughts and really put everything on the table. You'll start to knock down those bricks one by one. Doop, doop, doop. And the one thing I want to say is there's a different with boundaries. Because boundaries can also be limitations on yourself. So you have to have healthy boundaries. Because boundaries can also be negative.
I'm feeling another podcast coming with boundaries.
Well, say it now so it's on camera.
But this was a nice little exercise that I just wanted to share. And even Mario didn't know this was coming to her. I kind of shoved it in her face a little bit.
But you got me thinking. You got me thinking about how to be more aware of my needs and putting myself and my, like you said, what was it? It's, what do I do? How do I feel from my past experiences? So you connected that past experiences by asking me, have I ever felt something that has made me feel like it's going to be a bad outcome by being alone, right? That something bad is going to happen. And you helped me make that connection. But you also helped me to find the value in the positive idea of being alone is a valuable, good thing, right? Like you reframed it. And that's what I'm able to see now is how it's actually really okay. It's part of healing, it's part of growth, it's part of, and it can be purposeful. So you gave me the value by making it what I told you I needed. I needed purpose. And so if I'm going to be alone and have a schedule, like I'll get this and this done, right? If I'm going to be alone, maybe I need to be out of my house and alone. Go on vacation by myself, who knows, right? Like just get to know me in different ways. But I'm walking away feeling I have a better sense of me.
I mean, she have to dig deeper, but she know where to start. She know where to start.
Trini's gonna make me work on the deep, okay? But that's self-awareness, that's it. That's all.
Who was it? Bugs. That's all, folks. Something nice, short, and sweet. Peace out.